14 minutes after the hour now, the redistricting fight is hitting a real fever pitch this week. As you probably have heard by now, the Texas Senate passed a new congressional map after the House approved it earlier in the week. It now heads for the governor's desk to be signed, and he's expected to sign it. Now, there are more blue states in retaliation saying we want to do the same thing, including California, where Governor Gavin Newsom plans to hold a redistricting vote as soon as November. So we wonder what might the impact be on future elections. And to talk about that, we welcome Fox News contributor James Freeman. I, for one, James, am all for it because I think it puts the hands back in the people who have been disenfranchised, especially when you look at what's not just happened in California, James, but what has happened in Illinois, and I'm sure other places. I looked at that map in Illinois, and I was aghast at how completely manipulated and disenfranchising that map is. And so Texas is saying, listen, turnabout is fair play. Do I have that right?
Yeah, and to your point, I'm not sure it really goes much further than here because, as you know, California is already drawn to favor Democrats. Republicans get about 39% of the votes there, and they have 17% of the House seats. So this really can't go much further. Gavin Newsom not running for governor again, so he probably doesn't care that much if voters rebuff his plan in the fall. Yeah, this is kind of a inherently political process, and it always has been. And Democrats tend to write the maps for themselves. Republicans now doing the same when they have the opportunity.
Yeah, and this is what's interesting. For years, the GOP just didn't play hardball. But for some reason, finally, it seems like they're more open to this idea, a little political pugilism. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, when you look nationwide, I guess you could say overall it's still the maps tend to favor Democrats a little bit, not wildly so. So Republicans got 4 million more House votes this past cycle. They have a slim majority in the House, 220 votes. So I guess people worried about democracy, you know, it's not wildly out of balance right now. Maybe there's a chance to pick up some seats for the Republicans here and there, but they may decide in certain states either that the map is okay with them or that they don't want the political cost of pushing through changes at this point. They do have to worry. The off-year elections, the midterms tend to be rough on the party of the president. So
That's right.
Next year, what looks like a great Republican seat in a new map, if it's a closer run thing, might turn out to be a Democratic seat. So that's kind of a natural disincentive for both parties to go too far redrawing the maps. You never know one cycle to the next what the electorate is going to look like and what their choices are going to be.
Yeah, well, I think turnabout is fair play, and a lot of people, not just in Texas, think it's high time that they begin to try to level the playing field. Meantime, it was a very busy week for the previous administration, if you can believe it. Kamala Harris, former VP, announcing a 15-city book tour as more Biden aides testified on Capitol Hill about the former president's mental fitness while he was in the Oval Office. So let's begin, though, with the Harris book tour. Will the public be lining up to see her promote her memoir about her failed presidential run?
Could be. I think this is a moment for her of enormous opportunity and also enormous risk. If she decides that she wants to do the real insider account that she's promised and lay out the cognitive challenges of Joe Biden while he was president and talk about how they managed those and how they insulated him from the outside world to a large degree. I think this is a bestseller and it's a fascinating book tour. And I think she possibly rehabilitates herself politically. Now, granted, she may draw some legal risk in the course of that, but I think it's a huge opportunity. If, however, she's going to stick to the talking points that she employed last year, that Joe Biden was sharp as a tack behind closed doors and brilliant and all of that, this looks to me like a disaster. I can't imagine on this tour how she's going to get through
Right.
media interviews. I mean, there are certainly a lot of people who were in our industry who were relatively incurious about this issue while Biden was president, but have suddenly become very interested.
Right.
I don't see how she gets through a media tour on this subject unless she's willing to get beyond last year's talking points and tell us what it was really like with Joe Biden and his faculties in the White House.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that this is interesting at all to anyone unless she comes out swinging, which is just not her personality. I don't think that's in her character, her makeup as a politician, such as it is. I don't see her doing that, and therefore, I'm not so sure this will sell a lot. Maybe somebody wants to hear her, fangirl and see her in person, but sales, good luck with that. James, great to see you, my friend. Thank you for your time this weekend. We appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.